Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are exploring a different kind of fear, one that isn't supernatural, not mythical, and not born from movies or legends. It's the fear that comes from real life. The kind that hides behind walls, inside attics, under staircases, and beneath the quiet floors of your home. We're talking about rooms. Secret, concealed, forgotten rooms. Places that were hidden for a reason, and places that probably should have stayed hidden forever. Every year, people across the world stumble onto spaces they never knew existed. Hidden doors behind bookcases, walls that unexpectedly move, staircases leading to sealed underground chambers, crawl spaces no one has touched for decades, and basements that hold things no one should ever see. Some discoveries are shocking, some are tragic, some are deeply disturbing, and a few feel like something out of a nightmare. Let's begin with a room no one wanted to find inside their own home. A hidden basement in Missouri that workers discovered during a renovation. At first, it just looked like an old storage area. But as the workers pulled away debris and brushed off dust from a cramped corner, they found 2 jars, sealed, covered, hidden beneath the cloth, and inside them were human fetuses. The containers sat under an old medical table. Only then did the house's owner mention that his parents once whispered rumors that the building had been an illegal abortion clinic back in the 1950s. The police examined the space, confirmed the story, and announced they would not pursue the case further. But the image of that small basement, the jars, the table, the cold smell of dust and metal, stayed with everyone who walked through that door. A place like that wasn't meant to be found. A room meant to remain buried in history. From Missouri, we moved to another American basement, this time discovered by hopeful house hunters searching for their new home. As they climbed the stairs from the basement, they noticed something strange. Holes carved deliberately into the wooden steps, lookout holes. When they went down to inspect the space, they found walls covered in messages, written to someone named Joshua. "Josh, stop reading this and go to bed," one message read. Another listed Josh's rules, including things like, no watching Isaiah through the hole. Another wall read simply, "Stop watching me." No one knows who Joshua or Isaiah were, or why the basement was filled with warnings, rules, or accusations. No one knows what the lookout holes were for, or why the space felt like a place children were forced to stay rather than a place they played willingly. The home was later sold, and the mystery remains unsolved to this day. And then there was the man who wandered through his home one day and noticed a window for a room he had no memory of ever entering. He followed the glass to the wall behind it and found a hidden workbench nailed firmly in place. Behind it, a thin wall panel seemed looser than the others. When he tugged it open, revealed a small door. Through the door lay a secret room frozen in time. Yellowed newspapers from the 70s, old playing cards, broken furniture, and among the debris, a single stone gargoyle sitting in the corner, like a silent guardian. No one could say who placed it there or why it was hidden behind layers of wood and dust. But the atmosphere of that space, still, stale, untouched for decades, left the owner convinced he had uncovered something meant never to see daylight again. Not all secret rooms are abandoned time capsules. Some are occupied by people who shouldn't be there. One family learned this the terrifying way when 2 young brothers accidentally knocked into their bookcase, revealing a hidden passage. The dark staircase beneath led down to a narrow hallway, and halfway down they found a crawl space. Inside was a blanket, crumbs, a few empty wrappers, and their own Halloween candy, half eaten. Someone had been living behind their walls, sneaking into their bedroom while they were away, stealing food, then retreating back into the shadows. No one knows how long the squatter lived there, or whether he ever watched the family sleep. The police never found him. The idea that someone had been silently moving through the house, lurking inches behind the walls, is the kind of terror that sticks with you. Then there are rooms that hold danger in a more invisible form. One couple renovating their newly purchased home discovered a narrow passage behind a bookshelf. At the end of the dark corridor was a single small room, and inside was a note from the previous owner. The letter said, "You found it, hello. This house has a severe mold problem that made my children very sick. We had to move out." The note went on to explain that the real estate agent likely hid the issue to avoid lowering the sale price. The couple conducted tests, and indeed the walls contained dangerously high concentrations of toxic black mold. A secret room ended up revealing the truth about the entire house, and may have saved their lives. In Norway, students renting a house were told by their landlord that there was a secret room somewhere. That alone is enough to keep most people awake at night. But after months of searching, they found it purely by accident when a student stretched upward in the attic and pushed against what he thought was a solid wall. The panel swung open to reveal a chamber filled with World War II relics, a map of European emergency lamp, and a sign that read, "If you have a bad stomach, you do not have access." The students thought they uncovered something sinister until historians examined the objects and explained the truth. The room had been part of a secret resistance printing operation during the Nazi occupation. The Nazis never found it. Somehow, the students, stretching during a conversation, were the first people in 70 years to open that wall. Some hidden rooms feel less like history and more like the opening scene of a psychological horror film. A Reddit user once discovered a crawl space in his attic. Inside was a narrow opening leading to another small room, completely covered in soundproofing boards from floor to ceiling, surrounded by plastic sheeting. In the corner was a raised platform the size of a single bed. There were multiple power outlets, a briefcase containing foreign currencies, silver bars, and a lock safe filled with tapes. The user turned the contents over to police, who refused to release details about their investigation. The secrecy only deepened speculation. Was the room used by a spy, a criminal, someone hiding from the law, or someone doing things too disturbing to imagine? Without answers, the mystery grows darker. Sometimes the secret room isn't empty. Sometimes someone is still inside. Two college students learned this the hard way when they moved into an off-campus home. Several days after moving in, they noticed every door in the house had been opened. Kitchen cabinets, closets, the fridge, even the microwave. Even the both of them had been asleep. Days later, a friend casually mentioned meeting their housemate Jeremy in the basement. The two students froze. They didn't have a housemate named Jeremy. The landlord and police broke open a locked basement door they had never been given a key for. Inside was a fully set-up living space. Photos, furniture, clothing, a bathroom. A stranger had been living beneath them the whole time, sneaking in and out through a side entrance and occasionally wandering around the house at night. He vanished the day they discovered his room. Some secret rooms are made intentionally disturbing. In the basement of a restaurant in Arizona, there's a hidden chamber filled with dozens of dolls arranged carefully around a long table, set to mimic Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. No one knows who arranged them or why. Visitors can see it if they know where to look, but most stumble onto it accidentally. And the shock of seeing that silent tableau, dolls frozen in the positions of Jesus and the apostles, makes the room feel like an offering to something not meant to be named. And finally, one of the most unsettling discoveries came from Los Angeles in 2010. Two women cleaning an abandoned basement opened an old doctor's bag and found the preserved remains of two infants wrapped in newspapers from the 1930s. The bag bore the name J.M. Barrie, sharing the same initials as the author of Peter Pan, though there is no known connection between them. Alongside the bodies were old documents, a copy of Peter Pan, and membership papers to a resort named after the story. The case still doesn't have clear answers. The infants showed no signs of trauma. One was full-term, the other likely premature. Whether the bags were hidden intentionally or simply stored and forgotten, no one knows. The mystery remains unsolved. Every secret room on this list reminds us that when something is hidden, it's usually for a reason. Sometimes the reason is tragic, sometimes dangerous, sometimes bizarre, and sometimes terrifying. But curiosity is a part of human nature, so people keep opening doors they probably shouldn't. And the world of hidden rooms still has many secrets left. If you want more stories like this, real mysteries, hidden spaces, and the dark corners of everyday life, make sure to subscribe. There are many more secrets waiting to be uncovered.